We've got compute power that we've never had before. We have some level of interoperability. There are a lot of folks that are focused on, standards, creating those kinds of interoperability, scenarios. I think that the vendors are a bit more keen on making sure that they're codifying data that's going into the systems. But I think the biggest problem still, which, looking back on my 20 plus year, journey, is still making sure the data is usable, that we're able to harness the data, that the data is fit for use. Right now in addition to the things that we were talking about even 10, 15, 20 years ago, like, it's unstructured, not codified. Now we've got things like equity, right? Which is important. And that's another layer of a challenge that we have to make sure we focus on, particularly with AI, among us, right? So I think the one major fundamental problem still is curating, managing, ensuring that the data quality is high. And there are a lot of challenges there, as you know, right? There's a lot of source data everywhere in our health system. How do you bring it all together and, connect it to each other, harmonize it? I think that's a fundamental problem. If you can't solve that problem, or if you can't, address that problem, you're going to have a lot of issues innovating. You'll have a lot of issues with analytics, obviously, because you need the truth, and the data is true, right? But the junk in, junk out, data is only as good as you put into it. So, I think that's the challenge for innovation. And then the other thing is, let's assume that we get the data right. Now, there's what I love to refer to as data liquidity, and what that really, for me, is defined as is free-flowing data that people can access that data easily, and by the way, in a manner that is it's data liquidity is like being able to access the data with guidelines and guardrails and the policies and all the things that you need to ensure that it's being consumed in a way that you'd want it to be consumed, and you are able to manage it and monitor it, right? Because as we all know, that's another issue that we all have to deal with. Is,
sure.